Hi guys, my name's Terry, and yes, I'm still a petrol head. I had to laugh. Aaron emailed me and says, do you want to bring your Boxster along on Tuesday night and show us what you've done to it? And I had to laugh because I thought what I've done to it is I drove into a bit of concrete. Wasn't my fault, of course. I blame the government. They stuck it there. Anyway, I'll probably best start with a friend at work, and I still call him a friend, said to me, you only bought that because you couldn't afford a 911. And he was half correct. I bought it because I couldn't afford a 944 S2. I'm more of a transaxle person, and that's sort of where I want to be, I suppose, in the Porsche world. But I'm quite glad I bought this. I didn't think much of mid-engine cars. I wasn't really interested in them, and I certainly was even less interested in convertibles. But I've been converted a little bit on that, and I actually really like the convertible concept. On a nice clear winter's night, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock on Saturday, I'll just put the top down. It can be as freezing cold, as long as it's not raining, I don't care, and just wrap up and go for a drive. Just go up Kaitoki, look at the stars while you're driving along if you're not going too fast. Just enjoy the fresh air, being a little bit outside. Someone once told me it's old man's motorbikes, convertibles. People who are into bikes generally, I suppose, migrate into convertible. The car itself is unusual for a mid-engine compact car. The engine, unlike a lot of the compact ones, is not west-east configuration like a front-wheel drive setup. The engine is a north-south and sits very low in the car down here. That would be about the top of the engine, excluding the inlet manifold. So your centre of gravity for your whole drivetrain is somewhere between here and here, is that centre of gravity. So it sits very low. Aaron did say, bring it along and we'll pop the bonnet and have a look at the engine. Well, you won't be doing that. Sorry, you want me around here? Sorry. The only real way to get to the engine is underneath. So all your majority of servicing and everything is from underneath the car, which is quite easy. It amazed me. One of the things I was concerned about getting the car, I like to work on the car myself. I don't particularly like sending it to someone else to work on, mostly because I can't afford to do something like that. So I thought, I'll buy it. It was a bit of a whim. I'll see how it goes, and if it gets too expensive to maintain, I'll sell it. But I've been quite surprised as to how easy it is to work on. If something like a car like this puts you off because, it would be too expensive, too hard to work on, I would say don't let that put you off. It's incredibly easy to work on. I mean, I bought the car at 121,000 Ks, and they generally say at 120 you've got to start replacing things. It was 22 years old, done 121,000. So you've got to start going through all the auxiliary bits around the engine, water pump, air oil separator, your mass sensor, oxygen sensors, the drive belt, which is on the front of the engine. All super simple, really simple. I've done the water pump on the 924 a couple of times, and I would rather do this than that front engine car. This is incredibly easy. There is a little trick to working on them. You pull the seats forward, take the carpet off the bulkhead at the back there, and there's an access panel that gives you access to the front of the engine. So if you're changing your drive belt, you do it in about 20 minutes. If you had a belt in your car and you had the two side spanners you need, and you broke the belt going down the desert road, you can change it in 20 minutes in your Sunday best and not even get dirty, because it's just simple. The water pump, super simple, things like that. I don't know, any questions you guys have got on the car? Nothing? No?
What's the size of the motor?
It's the early one, it's a 2.5 flat six. Flat sixes are a really good idea for an engine, as long as you're not putting them in the front of the car. Once they go in the front, that's when you get complexity and issues, but putting it into the middle of the car actually makes a lot of sense. It's short, it's not very tall, and all the mass, I suppose, is in the width of the engine, or the dimensions. So being in the middle makes it easy. There's nothing to get in the way. It's from underneath, you've got access to spark plugs and coil units and everything. Just right, basically, once it's in the air, they're just right there. It's simple.
Two questions, Terry.
Yep.
So is it mechanically related at all to the 911, or is it completely separate?
It is very much like the 911. It's 80% of the 911.
Okay.
When Porsche in the 90s were going broke, they were screwed. It was the last roll of the dice, I suppose. This and the contemporary 911, they invested heavily into the company. They put all the money into it. It was a roll of the dice, really. They employed the same guys who did the just-in-time method or lean manufacturing in Toyota, and got them to come in and redid everything. They changed the entire factory. And then their design philosophy and how they design cars was completely changed. The front end of this, from the windscreen forward, is exactly the same as a 911. The whole front setup. The only difference to this and a 911 is the 911's a slightly larger engine, and it has a third radiator in the front, so there's another cutout in here for that. But otherwise, front suspension, everything's the same. The engine's exactly the same, it's just a lot smaller. The contemporary cars are 3.4, this is a 2.5. A lot of the parts, so if you buy the water pump, it's got the 911 part number on it, it's just all the same. They actually changed the way they did things so much. The last of the air-cooled 911s took 127 hours to assemble, and by changing the way they did everything and just turning it upside down, they got it down to 74 hours. And of course, by dropping that cost of the car, they passed that on to the consumer by raising the cost of the vehicle to the consumer.
And you say parts, where do you source your parts from?
From the States or out of the UK.
Pelican parts?
Pardon?
Pelican parts?
Yes. Yeah. They're not too bad for price. I mean, the most expensive part I've put on it was the front strut. Just before I bought the car, the right-hand side was leaking, so the dealer changed that, but they didn't change the left-hand side. So to get the whole strut, including postage, from the States was $460.
Was that spring as well, or just
No, not the spring. It's just the strut with the insert and everything.
That's not bad, though.
It's I to run this and the 924 Turbo, I budget $50 a week. So I have a separate bank account that I put $50 a week into. From that $50 a week, I can pay insurance, regos, warrants, do the tyres, all that type of stuff, batteries, and all the car parts I can buy. And I've done that for the last 6 years, so it works. And that's $50 a week. But that's me doing everything as much as I can. But this is actually a dream to work on and use. The M96 engine that's in this car would be the worst engine Porsche ever made or designed. It's a bit of a dog. They made it started with the 2.5, there's a 2.7, a 3.2 and a 3.4. And they did go to a 3.6. There's a number of design flaws in the engine. Part of the cost saving, they went a little bit too far. The good news is, with the 2.5, for some reason, well, I got an idea why, all the issues just seem to go right over its head. just smaller bore, shorter stroke, and the stresses just aren't there, so it doesn't have the issues that the larger engines have, which is one of the reasons why I bought it. I never wanted the 2.5. I believed all the internet talk about how bad they are. I need to find it's actually the exact opposite. They are, to me, are the better ones. There's other things in it too. It's still, because it was their last roll of the dice, they keep things very simple. About 2000 onwards, Porsche start putting in their own active management systems and all the other electronic goodies that you get. But this is just everything's, all the Bosch stuff is off the shelf. So you don't, if you want oxygen sensors, you don't go to Porsche, you just buy the Bosch one. Stick that in at a tenth of the price. It's still got the throttle body is still connected with a cable. It's no drive-by-wire, very simple. The front and rear trunk release, notorious in the Porsche worlds. The later model cars have the solenoids, electric solenoids that constantly clapping out. And they always go on you when you don't want it to, when you've got your luggage in the front or at the back and you can't get at it. Or what people do, they leave them in the States over winter, don't drive them over winter, go to drive it and the battery's flat and the battery's in the front trunk. So then the questions on the forums are always, now how do I open it? And so this is cable operated, there's no worries. There are ways around it. Some smart cookies figured out if you put 12 volts into the fuse board at the front footwell there, you can power it up enough to jump it, or if you rummage around, if you really have to, and rip out the wheel arch on the right-hand side, there's actually a cable that they put in to release it if you need to. I just thought we'd just stick with the cable operated right from the start, you don't have to worry about it. So there's just little bits like that. Anything else? No. Right, I just wanted to finish with one. If I can, I've put together 5 questions. Interesting questions. Well, I'm hoping you'll find them interesting, or the answers interesting anyway, on all things Porsche. If you want to partake, I thought we could, if I find my glasses. Just 5 simple questions about Porsches. First one. This is a multi-choice one.
Is it about the war?
No. We can get onto the war with them if you really want to, though. I can get into that. The 356 car, everyone knows, is the first Porsche made, or the first one to bear the Porsche name. Designed by the son, Ferry Porsche. That first car, multi-choice, is it A, or was it A, front-engined, B, mid-engined, or C, rear-engined? We'll do a show of hands on this one. Anyone want to go with the front engine? Anyone want to go with a mid-engine concept? What about a rear or mid-engine? Yeah. Anyone for mid-engine, sorry? 1. Anyone for rear-engined? Okay, well, the mid-engine, you took that one. Its original concept, the Sun, was for a mid-engine car, and the first one was designed and built to be mid-engine. Okay, second question. You can keep score in your head if you want to. In what decade did Porsche build his first electric car? I won't say year, we'll just go with what decade?
20s.
We got 20s? No?
20s.
Any other?
The 10s. 910.
No?
10s.
Good. 30s.
So, no?
Military. Military tractor.
No, it was a car, it wasn't a military vehicle, it was an actual motor vehicle. He actually did race it too, entered into a race. Anyone? Okay, it was the 1890s, first electric car. Electric cars aren't new, and that was not even the earliest one. There's lots more before that. Okay, third question. Porsche have never won a Formula One race with their own car. They provided engines for a couple of manufacturers, but have they, true or false, Porsche have never won a Formula One race with their own car?
Yes, they have.
You got the year for that?
62.
Correct. Do you know which one? Bonjour.
Yeah. Dan Kennedy.
Yes.
Yeah,
French.
French.
French Grand Prix. They only entered the car once. They did one season with their own car. The Porsche 917, the race car they eventually won Le Mans with, had a 12-cylinder flat engine. Was that engine technically a 12-cylinder Boxster engine or a 12-cylinder 180-degree V12?
That was a V12.
The latter.
The V12? Yeah. 180-degree V12, technically.
But it was started as two 911 engines combined kind of thing, or was it more?
No, I think it was because the crank would have to be different for a V. You know.
What's the technical nuance or difference?
Boxer engine, like in this one with a 6, the opposing cylinders move together. A V will have the cylinders doing all sorts of different things depending on your firing order. So it's actually down to the crank, what the crank's doing, and how the crank's working. Right, anyone winning this so far? Okay, last question. This is a simple one. The original 356 and the original 911 until the late 80s, the engines in those, were they, this is multi-choice, A, air-cooled, B, oil-cooled, or C, water-cooled? Now, I can give you a hint on this one, and that is don't answer too quickly.
Well cooled.
Who's down for water-cooled? Who's down for oil-cooled? Who's down for air-cooled? I've got a couple on the air-cooled. The answer to that one is simply, I have no idea. They have a lot of oil in them, and every time I think I've figured out what it is, someone else will come along and say, actually, no, because the oil is now doing this to your engine. So I think the answer is probably a bit of both air and oil, or as someone actually put it, probably the best answer I heard is average Joe calls them air-cooled, geeks call them oil-cooled. And that's probably the closest I've ever heard as to a real answer to that one. So anyway, my name is Terry, and this is my car.